Welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I am Razzle11 or Razzle11 Grinds on Twitter. Taking a look at some pitching options for Sunday the 9th. Happy Easter, everybody. Gonna look at just the main slate today. I know recently kind of looked at multiple slates, but we have a normal main slate on a Sunday. And first look at pitching is actually decent. There aren't a ton of big names on the slate, but there are a handful of pitchers that really intrigue me. Um, let's take a look right at the top. I always use DraftKings just because I think digging into pitching is even more important on DraftKings with the two pitcher site and the efficiency style scoring. So when we look here at the top, all three of these guys at the top are guys that I am very interested in today for different reasons. Peralta looked great in his first start of the season. If he's able to avoid Arenado and Goldschmidt, who have, I believe, combined for 5 home runs against him, I think he's in a pretty good spot to potentially put up the highest score on the slate. But there is definitely volatility with him. Uh, for safety purposes, I think cash game wise, I think Nestor Cortez is the play over Peralta. Maybe not the same kind of K upside, but he was pretty strong against Philadelphia. He's actually absolutely dominated Baltimore as a starting pitcher so far. I referenced his numbers in today's full count article, which is free on site, so you definitely want to check that out. Uh, and Molly stands out to me because the Twins pitching staff has absolutely been dominant to begin the season, and the Houston lineup is striking out a lot more than we are accustomed to. So if he's able to avoid the couple dangerous bats, the Yordan Alvarez and Kyle Tucker, maybe some Alex Bregman, but if he's able to avoid the main guys, there are a lot of outs to be had in that lineup. And I think people still think that Houston is elite overall. They've lost a few guys. The lineup's taken a little step back, so I think Molly is an interesting option. Uh, so then that brings on a couple of fades below John Gray and Jameson Taillon in Wrigley, which is actually one of the better hitting environments on the day. As much as I like Taillon as a pitcher, I just don't think it's a great spot. Even though Texas has struggled a little bit, I think there are going to be some runs scored in that game, so I'm not going to be spending up on those two. Uh, I'm on the fence here on Carlos Carrasco. Massive favorite. Miami has a pretty low implied run total, but Carrasco was pretty bad in his first start. So I really wonder what his upside actually is. I don't really expect him to be overly popular because as we go down, Drew Rasmussen, Tampa Bay pitcher, Tampa Bay, everything is on fire. Oakland opponent, not very strong. Uh, and Drew was absolutely dominant against a terrible Washington team in his first start, and his price only came up $200. So um, I expect him to be probably the chalkiest pitcher on the slate. So if you want to pivot off of him, which I'm going to be using Drew Rasmussen a ton, I think George Kirby is sneaky. Now we know Cleveland doesn't strike out all that much, but they are a pretty weak hitting lineup in terms of power. Uh, so maybe Kirby's a better FanDuel play just because of the potential hits given up uh, being kind of painful to the DK score. But I'm kind of intrigued by that matchup. Um, and then Kopech is a guy that he was terrible against San Francisco, just allowing home runs left and right. Pittsburgh has been scoring some runs, but I kind of looked into Kopech's past. There's a lot of times where he's given up 5+ runs that he's come back the next game and been much stronger. Uh, so that's kind of more of a gut call on this slate. But I with Hunter Brown a guy below him. I'm going with the fade. I know Minnesota's offense hasn't been overly dangerous so far, but Brown experienced some back issues late in spring training. It wasn't all that strong in his first start, even though it was in a great spot against Detroit. As we see, he went just 4 2/3, threw 93 pitches, which was nice to see out of the gate, but command and effectiveness just weren't there. So I'm going to wait and see on the youngster. Um, as much as I like him going forward at the major league level, I kind of want to see it before I start jumping on. And if we look down at the bottom, if we want to get a little crazy, I am intrigued by Cutter Crawford, who was atrocious in his first start of the season. Uh, Strikeout numbers were there, but he was not good against Pittsburgh. He does get Detroit, who is a pretty weak lineup. Um, so there's some intrigue for me at 5,800, but I'm not sure how much I'm going to get there. Uh, so that was a quick breakdown of some of the guys I'm looking at and then guys that I am fading on this slate. Um, I will add in a quick fade. Zach Plesac against Seattle. Just somebody I'm not going to go to at all that I think could end up, around 10% owned or so. Um, but there we have it. Happy Easter, everybody. Today is the last day to take advantage of our opening day promo code, which gets you 50% off your first month. I will put a link in the description below if you could check that out. And if you could give this video a thumbs up, it really helps us here at DFS Army and it helps myself as well. But with that, best of luck, everybody.